Welcome. It's a delight to be in your presence once again this morning as we talk about you. Yes, you, yourself. Bhagavad Gita can be translated in many ways, as almost anything can to any language. Um, and in the books that I've done on the Gita, I've called it the Song of Your Soul. So Gita is song, and Bhagavan can be translated or put forth in many different ways for Westerners, especially. I put it as your soul because Krishna, one of the main characters in the Gita, symbolizes your innermost being, and his friend Arjun is like your limited being, your ego, the kind of the shell that we put on around just our infinite, omnipotent selves. And that's what we were trying to connect with yesterday, if you were here. The idea of being yourself is one of the overarching themes for this year-long sadhana. But if you don't know who you are, truly, then how can you be that? And for most of us, as I mentioned, ourselves are buried under labels, expectations, both from others and from ourselves. So if you haven't quite figured out truly who you are at the core of your being, that's okay. It takes a while. Sometimes some people just go, that's it. And however it works for you, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So if you have even found a little taste of who yourself is, or maybe not, this next verse may be both useful and a little heavy. So today we're looking at verse 629. So chapter 6, the 29th stanza. And I'll chant it for you. In harmony from his practice, the yogi sees the self in all, and all beings within the self. He sees all with equal vision. And the selves in this verse are capital S self, seeing the true self within all beings, not just all people, but all beings, like the grass, the tree. Where are you? I'm the weather person. There you go. The beasts, the sky, the earth itself. And we see them with equal vision. So, equanimity, being essentially yourself, being the same in all circumstances, is Samatvam, and equal vision is Samadarshan. Same vision. And how many of us can truly do this? So there was, as many of you have probably heard, an apparent attempt on former President Trump's life yesterday. And it was so interesting to look at reactions from media, etc. And some of it seemed to be promoting separatism in a way. Like, who do we blame? Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. What I'm mentioning it for is different people see this physical embodied being in many different ways. But can we see, no matter how we think of this person or any other politician or anybody who seems to have a better job or a worse job or a harder job or an easier job, can we see the self within? No matter what we think of them, can we see the self? Because violence against one embodied being, whatever or whoever that is violence against all. If we have the same self inside, and there's no way around it. It's a hard thing, though, to get our head around because as humans, we have to be violent to live. And we have to make peace with that. That's what Arjun's trying to do in the Gita. He's like, I have to kill my relatives in order for justice to prevail. And Krishna's like, Yeah, part of being human, part of being embodied. And this might seem to contradict what I just said about violence, but we can take a different approach. So I think I used the wrong English words. There's violence, and there's the taking the life of other beings so that we live. And we're doing this every minute of every day. We are taking the lives of our own cells that are worn out. The liver is killing off red blood cells, recycling. And we, like right now, I'm killing off a bunch of bacteria. I went swimming in Lake Erie yesterday. Yes! But I swallowed some water. I got some up my nose. I'm sure my immune system is going bleh right now. So there is killing going on. There's killing going on, but there doesn't have to be violence. This is one of the most subtle points, and it's hard, and it's both hard to grasp and easy to willfully confuse, that whenever we're hurting something, it's so easy to judge. Are we being violent or nonviolent? Even stepping on an ant when you walk, that's hurting something, but for most of us, it's probably not violent, right? This is one of the subtleties we have to get across. So something I'd like you to consider today is whatever you're hurting, physically, or the Gita says in this chapter on meditation, even with your mind, are you doing it in a violent way? Everyone's going to get hurt in this life if you're embodied. Everything, everything. But does there have to be violence? Sometimes when we can see the self in all, it's easier to know what we really have to do. This is what Krishna is saying. If you saw the true self, it's easier to know what to do, even if it causes apparent harm, how to separate hurt from violence. Very tough on the spiritual path, very tough. And people might use it against you. They might hurt you and expect you not to say anything, take care of yourself because you're practicing nonviolence. So just a little bit to work on. And I'm dedicating today's practice to Kit. Thanks for the call. Cathy, thanks for all you do. And to Michelle, thanks for subscribing. It's great to connect. Michelle led a wonderful program in the conference in Phoenix I went to, and I'm very glad I got to see her and meet her in person. Someday maybe we'll meet in person. Let's practice our balance pose without violence to ourselves. I'm a little stiff from swimming yesterday, so it might hurt, but it will be a good nonviolent hurt. Switch side. All right. Time to contemplate. For the next 5 minutes, I'm inviting you to see the self in something else. Now, you can pick something that you have an easy time seeing the self in, like your cat or the trees, the flowers. See the self in that because the self is there. But if you've been working on this a while and want something really advanced, pick somebody you don't like, someone you see as a political enemy. The self's in there too. The self is everywhere. Even in what we might call waste or garbage. There's the self. So you get to pick your level of contemplation today. Enjoy for 5. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for giving that a shot. It's easy to try to get up in our head about the difference between nonviolence and non-harming, hurting someone and being violent toward them. So perhaps try getting out of your head today about those philosophical concepts and just see the self everywhere and notice what happens. Just see the self in everything as I see it in you, you wonderful self, you. And I hope I get to see you again soon. Until then.